Everyone, thank you for being here with ROng Corporations. Today, I am pleased to present to you the Project ROng, a huge architectural plan geared toward the historical and cultural development of Vietnam. Before we begin, I want to briefly highlight a few words from the author, Mr. An Bui, a respectable businessman and a great father in the family. Mr. Bui said, I was born and raised in Vietnam, a country with over 4,000 years of history. Being a seasonal entrepreneur, I travel very often in order to learn and to discover new business concepts. It all started back in 2003. During my trip in Ha Tây, I accidentally saw a strip of land in the map which closely resembled the legendary Cao Rong. Ever since then, the very core concept of ROng was born. In 2006, I applied for the domestic and international architectural copyright, and by 2009, I create ROng Corporations in Vietnam and ROng LLC in the US. Now back to ROng. Within the sections, I would guide everyone through the different phases of ROng, from its historical origin, its inspirations, its structure, its purposes, and the overall project benefit to the country and the people of Vietnam. The origin of Vietnam started with the legend of the dragon law Lạc Long Quân and Oka, who united and gave birth to 100 men. The oldest child later on became the king, calling himself Hung Vuong and naming the land Vang Lang, the signal the beginning of Vietnam. Therefore, the Vietnamese have long been proud of being the descendant of the dragon. The dragons had become the symbol of the king, represent harmony, protection, and power. The inspiration behind ROng originated from this very legend and this belief. With this project, we strive to create a national symbol for the country and the people of Vietnam. Moving on, what is the point of ROng and what are we trying to achieve? The creation of ROng is meant to improve and to strengthen the 5 different aspects: history, tourism, culture, economic, and education. Firstly, from a historical standpoint, if successfully implemented, the entire resource and the dragon itself can potentially become the next historical landmark, a new national symbol for Vietnam. Furthermore, within the complex, the various museums and the cultural village are constructed to maintain and to preserve the historical records of Vietnam, dating back 4,000 years ago. The project is also served as a tourist booster. At the moment, Vietnam has roughly 4 million tourists every year. Most of these are from other Asian countries or Eastern Europe. Vietnam itself, with the numerous national wonders such as Ha Long Bay, is still left unexplored by a lot of people, especially those in North America. With the unique structure and the exclusive design that has never been built before, ROng will, with no doubt, attract and increase a large amount of annual tourists, contributing to the ever-growing tourism industry within Vietnam. From a national perspective, the ROng resource is planned to be the first and the largest cultural center within the country, through the creation of our cultural village and the Vietnam replica. These complexes will help both domestic and foreign tourists to further understand and to appreciate the importance of Vietnam, its national value, and its splendor. Another objective behind the creation of ROng is to help the country's economy. With a project of this proportion, ROng will create and attract a large number of jobs and new businesses within the area, further increasing consumption and tourism, thus becoming a large contributing factor within the growing GDP of Vietnam. The final purpose of ROng viet emphasized on the improvement of Vietnam's educational structure. With the creations of ROng viet School, a non-profit sector within the resource, we intend to sponsor selected students around the country throughout their educational career, thus help improving the country's talented workforce within the near future. So far, we have seen the 3D movie, we listened to the author's work, we fully understand the objectives behind ROng viet, and we also saw a lot of different pictures. But one may still ask, exactly what is ROng viet? Well, ROng viet is basically a building in the shape of a coiled dragon, which is comprised of many internal constructed components, including office, restaurants, school, and cultural sceneries. How are we going to build ROng viet? And what kind of materials? At the moment, the building exterior will be constructed by numerous hexagon yellow glasses, represent the skin scale of an actual dragon. These glasses are specially made, which will help blocking out the UV rays while reducing the overall heat inside the building. The dragon building will be the core structure along with 5 major components within the resource, including the lake, the earth, the river, the garden, and the wall. In the next few slides, I will go into great details on each of these components. Now, let's look at the dragon more closely. From what you see, ROng viet will be 135 meter tall, 900 meter long, and 27 meter wide, with a combined area of 146,000 square meter and approximately 20 to 27 floors. There are 6 major functional areas within this building, located within the head, the neck, the upper body, the mid body, the lower body, and the tail. One of the most important and unique components within the ROng viet resource is the dragon's head. An official guest house will be constructed atop the forehead, which will only serve the government body and foreign diplomat. Near the mouth, there will be a luxury restaurant, serving both traditional and international cuisine. At the tip of the tongue, the company will install a special pumping machinery. Therefore, the dragon will spout a waterfall throughout the day, and due to the building positions and lighting effect, a rainbow would be artificially created twice a day during sunrise and sunset. 2 of the 6 functional areas within the dragon include the neck and the tail. The neck is built as a luxury hotel with roughly 25 floors, including a spa, cocktail bar, and a gymnasium. The entire dragon structure, as we see from this picture, will be coiling together, and the space within this coiled body will be the ROng viet Stadium with a rooftop cover made of glasses. This stadium will frequently host different sporting events, including soccer, track and field, etc. Within the upper body is the ROng viet School, the only non-profit sector within the entire resource. The school will be supported financially by donations, tax benefits, or company profit. And with a capacity of over 1,000 students, the school will provide the most up-to-date equipment, facility, in order to ensure a great educational environment for both the student and the teachers. Who will attend the ROng viet School, and how does the sponsoring program work? Every year, we will individually select the 2 most qualified students from each of the 63 cities of Vietnam. These students will be chosen to attend the ROng viet school until after they finish high school. The estimated cost is approximately $10,000 per student per year, which will be fully sponsored by ROng Viet Corp. Upon finishing high school 6 years after, these students will be, once again, sent out to prominent colleges around the world with an approximate cost of $40,000 per student per year. ROng Viet will sign a promising contract with each of these students, guaranteeing a final return and employment within Vietnam upon their conclusions of college. Now, let us move on to another important area within the Dragon Complex, the cultural village within the mid-body. This village will mimic the traditional custom, the cultural lifestyle of the 54 ethnic group through the recreation of houses, real ethnic people, along with different cultural activity reserved exclusively for tourists. Within the lowermost body, a miniature replica of Vietnam will be constructed. Many fascinating sceneries around the country will be recreated within this area, such as Ha Long Bay or the One Pillar Temple. This facility is meant to remind the tourists of the beauties and the magnificence of the country of Vietnam. Outside of the dragon, each of the claws will hold on to 4 different structures, each of which will have various functions, ranging from museum, movie theater, to musical stages. Looking at the pictures here, we have the northern claw and the eastern claw. The northern claw is clutching a structural building which resembles a black mountain. There will be a waterfall cascading down from both sides of the building. This black mountain is the live reincarnation of Mount Tang Phi, which is the legendary mountain where Lac Long Wang and Oka met for the first time. The structure serves as the Museum of History, with an approximate area of 6,500 square meters, which will help preserving the various historical and cultural artifacts such as the Ngoc Lu's Rostrum. The eastern claw will craft the Green Shell Opera House. This opera house features a musical stage, which frequently hosts cultural performances such as Wang Ho singing or many different live shows of the modern Vietnamese music. Here's the images of the southern claw and the western claw. The southern claw is built to quench a red volcano, which is the largest movie theater within the resort. This movie theater will present historical and cultural documentary, Vietnamese film, and Hollywood movie. Lastly, the western claw hold on to a white pearl structure, which serves as the Museum of Science. This museum will preserve scientific record, artifact, historical innovations, and educational value from all over the country. There will be a cafe on the upper top of the pearl, serving different beverages and light meals. Externally, the white pearl is supposedly the biggest clock in the world, with an approximate diameter of 50 meters. Current holding record is located in New Jersey, the US, with an average length of 34 meters. Now, I will present the next 5 major components within the resource. As mentioned before, one of these is the lake. The entire dragon structure will rest on an artificial lake with a diameter of 270 meters. There is an access tunnel below the lake that connects the earth and the dragon. The underwater tunnel is also the touring entrance of the ROng Viet Aquarium, featuring the various sea life around the country. Atop of the lake, ROng Viet Corp will construct numerous miniature replicas of the famous Kissing Rock from Halong Bay. There will be boat and ferries provided as another means of transportation and touring. Surrounding the lake is the Earth, with roughly 225 meters in radius. The Earth is basically a strip of land that is decorated as the live reincarnations of the famous Ngọc Lưu Prastram. The Earth will host cultural festivity during special events such as the Vietnamese New Year's, the Full Moon Festival, etc. Enclosing the Earth is the river, which is the largest artificial river within the city, with over 540 meters in diameter. The company plans to offer different water sport activities such as kayaking, sailing, and touring on a daily basis. During special occasions, we will recreate different cultural, historical events on the river. For instance, the battle on Bat Dang River by Ngo Nguyen over 1,000 years ago. Atop of the river, we will construct two bridges connecting the garden and the earth, ensuring easy access for customers. Expanding the circle further, and we will reach the garden. This botanical garden is the lung of the entire resource, with numerous plant and small animals throughout the country. ROng Viet Corp is planning to construct a medium-sized recreational Jurassic Park and the wild jungle within the garden. Tourists will be able to enjoy these sceneries on the ROng Viet touring trams that run on a daily basis. Last but not least, we have reached the outermost component of the resource. This is the largest and the most important structure within ROng Viet, the wall. Encircling 3/4 of the entire resource with a circumference of over 2.5 kilometers, the wall is a serious building that's especially constructed to enclose ROng Viet. The wall is ROng Viet's largest shopping mall, providing various recognized brands on both the domestic and international scale, such as Gucci, Prada, and Trung Nguyen Cafe. Other facilities within the wall include food courts, hotel, and spa, etc. Additionally, tourists can come to the balcony atop of these buildings to observe the entire resource from 100 meters above ground. So far, I have shown everyone the objectives behind the creation of ROng Viet, the functional areas, and the exact intention of ROng Viet, along with its historical origin. Where will ROng Viet locate in Vietnam? Well, the company is planning to execute the project within Bac Ninh, a small city that is 31 kilometers from the capital Hanoi and 18 kilometers from the international airport Noi Bai. Bac Ninh is a hotspot of numerous historical and cultural value from all over the country, including the famous Dong Ho village and the Wang He singing. From the 2nd to the 10th century, Buddhism entered the country through Bac Ninh and had been practiced strongly during the Lý dynasty. Bac Ninh was very lucky to inherit all of the cultural and historical developments in these periods. For instance, the Phật Tích Temple or the Yo Pagoda. Therefore, Bac Ninh is very attractive to the foreign tourists who come to enjoy these historical value of the city. Furthermore, from a feng shui perspective, Bac Ninh is a part of the Red River Delta and a transition spot of 6 different rivers. Project ROng Viet, being executed in Bac Ninh, received large support from numerous feng shui masters. Here's a more detailed map of the project's exact locations. ROng Viet itself will be constructed atop of a small island, which is between the Tai Binh and the Duc River. This island is roughly 6 meters above the sea, with an annual temperature of roughly 23.4 degrees Celsius. Now, if everyone would look at this strip of land to the right, this is the remaining 100 hectares, which have also been allocated to the company. We're planning to construct the ROng village at this location, and I will go into more detail on the next slide. For now, to gain access to ROng, we will provide a fleet of transporting ferry and boat. ROng Corp will also construct 2 bridges for the customer and the employee, ensuring a quicker access to the complex. The entire resource will not use up all of the land within the island. Thus, the outer part will be used for parking, and an orchard will also be built to maintain and to improve the scenery of the resource. Now, back to the ROng village that I mentioned earlier. This village will be constructed on the strip of the land next to the resource. This is a residential housing project which we plan to be built as a modern city, which will include supermarket, gas stations, schools, villa, and etc. We have come to the end of the presentations. I would like to once again summarize the key benefit of ROng toward the people and the country of Vietnam. The museums, the cultural village, and the Vietnam replica will help preserve the country's historical record dated 4,000 years back. ROng will be the first and the largest cultural center within Vietnam, helping both the domestic and the international tourists to understand, to realize, and to appreciate the national assets of Vietnam. Overall, a project of this proportion will boost tourism, increase spending and consumption, thus stimulate the economy further. And the last benefit, which I highly support, is the creation of the ROng School. For a better and a further improved educational standard within the country, the ROng School is founded to serve such purposes and to help creating and improving a talented workforce for Vietnam within the near future. Once again, as a part of ROng Corp, I am grateful for the presence of everyone here today. ROng is a huge architectural project which is meant to serve the country and the people of Vietnam. Your contributions, your help, and your support, whether physically or intellectually, will always be treated with respect here at ROng Corp. Thank you very much.